Hello, we're here. What's going on? Oi, 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 oi. It works. We're here to talk about RekietaLaw today. For anybody who doesn't know who RekietaLaw, long story short, he's a douchebag. He's been a douchebag for a long time. Came from the Gamergate uh outrage industry. Um He is buddy buddies or was buddy buddies with Vic Mignogna, was running harassment groups on anybody who disagreed or thought Vic Mignogna was kind of problematic. Vic Mignogna has since distanced himself and thrown him under the bus after Nick Rekieta made a bunch of money off of his loss, like Vic Mignogna's lawsuit, and gorged himself and his family lawyer, real estate lawyer, thus creating things like the thread knot, which I definitely recommend checking out if you've got time. If you do want to know a little bit more about Nick Rekieta and how he's associated with Vic Mignogna, you can feel free and check out Mars Girl's 11-hour video, like documenting the whole Vic Mignogna scenario, but you can jump to Nick Rekieta if you want. So go and check that out. Long story short, he got arrested. He got arrested for, like, there was a warrant to his house because his children had been reporting that they were malnourished. They were, like, not changing clothes often enough and, like, all kinds of stuff. There was a video that went around where he appeared to be, like, completely strung out on what appeared to be cocaine. A warrant was issued. The warrant was followed through by the police. The police arrested him. They arrested his wife, and I believe they arrested the other woman that was swinging with them, I guess. The only reason that's a little bit relevant is because Nick likes to present himself as, like, a good, wholesome Christian dude most of the time, so, that was always bullshit regardless. They found unregistered, I believe, firearms. They found, like, not properly kept firearms. They found cocaine. They tested the kids, and they did not come back zero for cocaine and such things. And so he had originally was representing himself, and he was doing X, Y, and Z, yada, 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 to try and to deal with that, and he's now pleaded guilty. So let's take a look at that, as we can see. I only redacted the month and day he was born. I redacted. I went through it and breezed through it to see if there was anything that I thought really, really needed redacting. Most of this stuff is all public information anyway, but if I missed something, know that it's incidental or accidental. I didn't not redact things on purpose. I might have missed something, but so this is the filing courtesy of Renegade. Greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. It's in the Discord for anybody who wants to see it itself. How's my audio? I just want to make sure it's okay. It looks like it's fine, but if I'm a little bit quiet, let me know. I can turn it up. Excuse me. And you'll notice that we have a goal. The goal is pretty straightforward. It is 5 super chats at 5 or higher, and we break out the spice, and then I'll count the amount of money that has been accumulated, and that's the spice that we will open. But alas, are we ready, children? County Judicial District 8th, court file number 34CR-24-341, petition to enter plea of guilty in felony case pursuant to Rule 15. Yeah, this is a felony. This isn't small. This is big. This is big bad time. This is big bad time. State of Minnesota, plaintiff versus Rekieta, to the above named court. I, Rekieta, defendant in the above entitled action, do respectfully represent state as follows. My full name: I am 43 years old. My date of birth is 1981. The last grade that I went through in school is law school graduate. If you will recall, last time we looked at Nick Rekieta, his license had been suspended, I believe. it wasn't active at the very least. If filed in my case, I have received, read, and discussed a copy of the indictment complaint. I understand that the charges made against me in this case. Specifically, I understand that I have been charged with the crimes of a drug in the second degree in violation of Minnesota Statute 152.022, sub 2A1, possession of ammunition or firearms in violation of Minnesota Statute 624.713, sub 110 III or 3, and child endangerment in violation of Minnesota Statute 609.378, sub 1B2. And Hawkskull for 5 said, "Spicy goblin times, count me in." Oh yeah, I got the box that somebody, I don't know who sent me that, but somebody wants me to suffer. Committed on or about May 23rd, 2024, in the county of Minnesota. I am represented by an attorney whose name is blah, 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 and I feel that I have had sufficient time to discuss my case with my attorney. I am satisfied that my attorney is fully informed as to the facts of this case. My attorney has discussed possible defenses to the crime that I might have. I am satisfied that my attorney has represented my interests and has fully advised me. I have never been a patient in a mental hospital. I have not talked with, he's all messed up at the bottom. I have not talked with or been treated by a psychiatrist or other person for a nervous or mental condition. Next page. I have not been ill recently. I have recently been taking pills or other medicine. I do not make the claim that I was so drunk or so under the influence of drugs or medicine that I did not know what I was doing at the time of the crime. I do not make the claim that I was acting in self-defense or merely protecting myself or others at the time of the crime. I do not make so I'm following this based off the ones that are colored in. I do not make the claim that the fact that I have been held in jail since my arrest and could not post bail caused me to decide to plead guilty in order to get things over with rather than waiting for my turn in trial. So I'm not laughing at this, like, this particular situation. I'm laughing at the concept that people would do that, because I do absolutely people would do that, and I just think that's very funny. It's like, the court system is slow, the court system is a pain in the ass, like, I get it, but like, the fact that it's a checkbox, like, they were like, they gotta make sure. I was represented by an attorney when I had a probable cause hearing. I have not had a probable cause hearing. I think he had that. I don't recall. I know that I could now move that the complaint against me be dismissed for lack of probable cause. I know that if I do not make such a motion and go ahead with entering my plea of guilty, I waive the right to successfully object to the absence of a probable cause hearing. I also know that I'll waive all right to successfully object to any errors in the probable cause hearing when I enter my plea of guilty. See, because this one's got X and then it's scribbled, so I'm assuming he means that I have not, but my attorney has told me, and I understand, that the prosecutor for the case against me has physical evidence obtained as a result of searching for and seizing the evidence in the form of statements, oral and written, that I made to police or others regarding this crime, evidence discovered as a result of my statements or as a result of the evidence seized in search, identification, evidence from lineup or photogenic identification, evidence the prosecution believes indicates that I committed one or more other crimes, that I have the right to a pretrial hearing before a judge to determine whether or not the evidence the prosecution has could be used against me if I went to trial in this case, that if I requested such a pre-hearing trial, I could testify at the hearing if I wanted to, but that my testimony could not be used as subjective evidence against me if I went to trial in this case, that I do not now request such a pretrial hearing, and I specifically do now waive my right to have such a pretrial hearing. That whether or not I have such a hearing, I will not be able to object tomorrow or any other time to the evidence that the prosecutor has. I have been told by my attorney, and I understand that if I wish to plead not guilty, I am entitled to a trial by a jury on the issue of guilt, and all jurors would have to agree that I was guilty before the jury could find me guilty. That if I plead guilty, I will not have a trial, either by jury or by judge without a jury. That with knowledge of my right to a trial on the issue of guilt, I now waive my right to a trial. This is why reading comprehension is important. Know your rights, people. Imagine trying to read this under duress. Ugh. 12-point equivalent to asking, are you a terrorist? Yeah. All right. I've been told by my attorney that, and I understand that if I wish to plead not guilty, and have a trial by jury or trial by judge, I would be presumed innocent until my guilt is proven beyond a reasonable doubt. I have been told by my attorney and understand that if I wish to plead not guilty and have a trial, the prosecutor would be required to have the witness testify against me in an open court in my presence, and that I would have the right through my attorney to question these witnesses. That the knowledge of my right to to have the prosecution witness testify in open court in my presence and questioned by my attorney, I now waive this right. I have been told by my attorney, and I understand that if I wish to plead not guilty and have a trial, that I would be entitled to require any witnesses that I think are favorable to me appear and testify at trial. That with knowledge of my right to require favorable witnesses to appear and testify at my trial, I now waive this right. I have been told by my attorney, and I understand that a person who has a prior conviction or a prior conviction can be given a larger prison term because of this. That the maximum penalty that the court can impose for this crime, taking into consideration any prior conviction or convictions, is imprisonment for 25 years. That if the minimum sentence is required by statute, the court may impose a sentence of imprisonment of not less than a month for this crime. Not applicable. That for felony driving while impaired offenses and most sex offenses, a mandatory period of conditional blah, 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 not applicable because this isn't a driving issue. That a person who participates in crime by intentionally aiding, advising, counseling, and conspiring with another person or persons to commit a crime is just as guilty of that crime as the person or persons who were present and participating in the crime when it was actually committed. That my present probation or parole could be revoked and because of the plea of guilty to that crime, and the prosecutor is seeking an aggravated sentence of not applicable. I've been told by my attorney and understand that my attorney discussed this case with one of the prosecutor's attorney, and that my attorney and the prosecuting attorney agree that if I enter a plea of guilty, the prosecutor will do the following: plead guilty to the amendment charge of drug possession in the third degree, statutory stay of adjunction pursuant of Minnesota Statute 152.18, remaining terms of sentence at court's discretion. State drops all other charges. State dismissed 43 CR 24-342 against his wife and April Imholt. So it looks like they made an agreement that they're going to take the drug. Nick Rekieta is going to take the drug charge. The state is agreeing to drop the charges against his wife and their girlfriend, I guess. Hey, listen, do you. And they're going to drop the gun possession, and they are going to drop the child endangerment. Right? Does that track? Does that sound right to what I read? I think that's what I'm understanding here. That if the court does not approve this agreement, I have an absolute right to withdraw my plea of guilty and have a trial. Any testimony that I have given concerning my guilty plea could not be used against me unless I am charged with the crime of perjury based on this testimony. And last page. That except for the agreement between my attorney and the prosecuting attorney, no one, including my attorney, any police officer, prosecutor, judge, or any other person that has made any promises to me, to any member of my family, or, to any of my friends or other persons in order to obtain a guilty plea from me. No one, including my attorney, any police officer, prosecutor, or judge, or any other person has threatened me, or any member of my family, or my friends, or other persons in order to obtain a guilty plea from me. Whoo! My attorney has also told me that, and I understand that if I plead guilty, is for any reason not accepted by the court, or if I withdraw the plea with the court approval, or if the plea is withdrawn by the court of appeal process, I would then stand trial on the original charges. The prosecution could proceed against me just as if there had been no plea of guilty and no plea agreement. My attorney has told me, and I understand, that if my plea of guilty is accepted by the judge, I have the right to appeal, but that any appeal or other court action I may take claiming error in this proceeding probably would be useless and a waste of my time in the courts. You're convinced YouTube hides things? Probably. Hello, I am a hidden YouTube gem. Welcome. Welcome. Hello. The diamond in the rough. My attorney has told me that, and I'm just like, it would be useless and a waste of my time in the courts. I just find that one particularly amusing because we're talking about Nick Rekieta. And you want to talk about a useless waste of my time and a useless waste of the court's time. Nick Rekieta and Vic Mignogna and Ty Beard, the trifecta of useless waste of time. Good God. Whew. My attorney has told me, and I understand, that the judge will not accept a plea of guilty for anyone who claims to be innocent. I now make no claim that I am innocent. I have been told by my attorney, and I understand that I wish to plead not guilty and have a jury trial, that I could testify at trial if I wanted to, but I could not be forced to testify. That if I decided not to testify, neither the prosecutor nor the judge could comment on my failure to testify. That with knowledge of my right to not to testify, and that neither the judge nor the prosecutor could comment on my failure to testify at trial, I now give up this right and will tell the judge the facts of the crime. I like how they've used waive and now they've put it in brackets for give up. My attorney has told me, and I understand, that if I am not a citizen of the United States, this plea of guilty may result in deportation, exclusion from administration to the United States of America, and denial of citizenship. Oh, if I'm not a citizen. Yes, because felonies mean you're allowed to be president. That in view of all the above facts and considerations, I wish to enter my plea of guilty. There's Nick Rekieta, there's his signature, there's the location, which I blocked out, and his email address. I thought about blocking out the email address, and then I realized it was rekieta.org, and I was like, okay. Alright, sure. So now, we have round 2 over here. That didn't get messed up, did it? Oh, it got messed up. Oh, unfortunate. Is it good now? Did I fix it? Doesn't look like I fixed it. Hold up. We have the transcripts. Because of course we do. Because of course we do. Why does this look... How did this get messed up? How did this happen? Oh, God. No, why? Why are you like this? There we go. Why is this messed up? I don't know why. Okay, what? Huh? Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna I don't know why this is like cut in half like this. Oh, it's not cut in half. No, it is cut in half. Wait, it's what? What? What is happening? Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna reset this. I'm just gonna fix it. I'm just gonna try and fix it. It's fine. Oh, but please hold. Technical after these messages. I don't know why this is broken, but I'm glad I noticed right away. There. I don't know why this was all messed up, but now it is fixed. Huzzah. Let's get this a little bit. There we go. Zoomy this in for you guys. There we go. There you go. All right. Good? Gucci? This isn't very long. It's only 17 pages long. So here's the fun part of the transcripts. I hear they're really expensive, like $10,000 or something like that. But yeah, we've got the transcript. It's only 17 pages, so likely this transcript wasn't as big of a deal. I did not redact this one, but it only shows his prior address that was already published anyway, but I will still try to skip that part because I don't want to be helpful to assholes. All right. Shall we dive into this? State of Minnesota, District Court, 8th Judicial District, State of Minnesota, plaintiff, guilty plea, Nick Rekieta, defendant, guilty plea, 34CR24341. Above entitled matter came on for hearing before the Honorable Stephen J. blah, 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 January 24th, 2025. Appearances, Christine Pierce, first assistant attorney, Brian Lewis, attorney at law, Rekieta, the defendant, was personally present. So Brian Lewis, attorney at law, was appearing for Rekieta. Whereupon the following proceedings were duly had, the court will now call court file C34CR24341, State of Minnesota versus Nicholas Rekieta, and sir, your name, Mr. Lewis, Brian Lewis, your honor, on behalf of Nicholas Rekieta, and you, your name, Lewis, sorry, Lewis, no problem. Christine appears on behalf of the state of Minnesota. The matter is set for a plea hearing today. Counsel, this is now where we're going. Oh my God. Don't do it, Edge. I hate. And if we could play, how we were going to go forward on this matter today. Yes, Your Honor, and the court, and if you could please indicate what the term of the agreement are. Mr. Lewis, Your Honor, my client will plead guilty to an amended charge of drug possession, third degree, in violation of Minnesota Statute 152.023, subdivision 2(1) in brackets, a statutory stay of adjunction pursuant of Minnesota Statutes 152.18. Yeah. The remaining terms of the sentence is at the court's discretion. The state will drop all other will dismiss all other charges. The state will also dismiss the file number 3234CR24342 against Kyla, and will also dismiss the case against April, and those are the terms, Your Honor. Is that the agreement of the state? The state. It is, Your Honor. The statutory citation just is subdivision 2A1, and then the penalty would be subdivision 3A. The court, what is the maximum sentence again? Ms. Pierce, for the state, 20 years or a payment of $250,000 fine. And this, my friends, is why we say that the court system in America is pay to win. I also have the court file number for Miss Imholt's case, it's April, if the court would like that. And that number is 34CR24487. Court, will that be dismissed at the time of the plea or at the sentencing? It would be at the state's intention to do it at the time of the sentencing, Your Honor. All right, Mr. Rekieta, is this your agreement? Rekieta, yes, Your Honor. The court, so here, look at Rekieta falling on his sword for the girls. Look at him, being like, I will take it, but you let my women go. Oh, man, this is, what a clusterfuck. So here's the court. So here's how we'll proceed. I'm going to place you under oath. I have some additional questions for you before we continue, after which your attorney is going to go through a waiver of rights with you, and finally I'll have ask you some questions about what occurred in this matter. Would you please stand and raise your right hand? Nicholas Rekieta, having been first administered an oath, was examined and testified as follows. Thank you. You can have a seat again. This is your voluntary decision to be here today. Yes, Your Honor. Other than this agreement, has there been any other threats or pressure to get you to go along with this? No. I'm not, so I'm going to point out this is a package deal and the court's required to ask you just some additional questions or make sure that there's no additional coercion or this isn't the only factor why you're pleading guilty here to dismiss the case against others. No one's coerced you into doing this, is that correct? Correct, Your Honor. This is your voluntary decision. Yes. This is not just the sole basis of pleading guilty for the dismissal of other individuals' files. No, Your Honor. So he's not just doing it for the women. He's got other reasons. You're pleading guilty because you believe you are guilty of this offense. Yes. All right. You're thinking clearly to enter into agreement today. Yes. You are not under the influence of any type of medicines, drugs, alcohol, or substances. Correct. Court, do you have any initial questions for me about this agreement? No. Do you understand that up until I accept your agreement here today, you can withdraw from it, but once I accept your agreement, it will be difficult for you to change your mind or to withdraw from it in the future? Yes, Your Honor. Your date of birth? Yes. Thank you. Examination. Mr. Rekieta. Mr. Nick. You have signed a plea petition to plead guilty, is that correct? Yes. So that we're now in by Mr. Lewis Q&A. So question, yes. And that petition you are currently looking at now, is that correct? Yes. And Mr. Rekieta, to be clear, you've been told by your attorney and you understand that if you wish to plead not guilty, you're entitled to a trial by a jury on the issue of guilty and that all jurors would have to agree you were guilty before the jury could find you guilty. Yes. And you understand that if you plead guilty, you will not have a trial by either a jury or a judge without a jury. Yes. And with knowledge of your right to a trial on the issue of guilt, you waive your right to trial. Yes. You also have been informed by your attorney and you understand that if you wish to plead not guilty and have a jury, a trial by a jury or a trial by a judge, you would be presumed innocent until your guilt is proved beyond shadow of a doubt. Yes. And you understand that if you wish to plead not guilty and have a trial, the prosecutor would be required to have the witness testify against you in open court in your presence, and that you would have the right through your attorney to question these witnesses. Yes. And you understand that with knowledge of that right, you to have the prosecution's witnesses testify against you in an open court, blah, 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 blah. All of these are kind of what was already on the check mark, and I don't think we have to go about this. This is just yes, 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 yes. You understand? Yes. You also heard the plea agreement was entered earlier, and you understand the terms. Correct? Correct. You understand that no one has made any promises outside of the plea petition that you have signed. Correct? Correct. You also understand that the plea of guilty of any reason, blah, 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 blah. Again, a copy of this is in the Discord if you want to go through every single bit, but we're going to skip some of this because it is legitimately just repeating what we already looked at with this checklist. It's basically just this checklist, but in front of a judge under oath verbally. All right, with that knowledge, your right to testify knowing blah, blah, blah. Mr. Lewis, Your Honor, sufficient for legal basis. It is. You are offering the petition. I am offering the petition, Your Honor. Any objections? The state. No, Your Honor. It will be received. Thank you, Your Honor. Permission to approach. You may. Approaches at the bench with the plea petition. Thank you, sir. Do you have any questions for me about any of the rights you're waiving by pleading guilty here today? Defendant. No, Your Honor. The court, do you now wish to waive your rights to accept this agreement? Yes, Your Honor. All right. Sorry, do you now wish to waive your rights and accept this agreement? Yes, Your Honor. All right, I'm going to ask you to the amend court of the third degree possession of a controlled substance in violation Minnesota statute 152.023 subsection 2A1 with reference to sub 3A, a maximum sentence of 20 years $150,000 fine, or both. How do you plead? Guilty or not guilty? Guilty, Your Honor. Factual basis. All right. So, the sentencing has not happened as of yet. Let us continue. Hello, good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. By the court, before I accept your guilty plea, we have to discuss. I'm just going to skip past this part. They just ask where he lived in the county. Yes, Your Honor. Is this your residence at the time? That was my residence. And apparently a search warrant was being executed on that day in the morning hours. Is that correct? Yes, Your Honor. So now they're asking about the warrant and whether or not, like that whole shebang that we already covered. Were you home at the time? No, Your Honor. I was about half a mile away. All right. Did you have some items in your possession that you shouldn't have had? Yes, Your Honor. And what was that? It was a substance or mixture in excess of 10 grams containing a narcotic drug other than heroin or fentanyl, particularly cocaine. What? Can you tell this guy may or may not have gone to law school? A substance or mixture in excess of 10 grams containing a narcotic drug. Oh, this sounds like he read it off of like a textbook. All right, and you're aware that was in your possession on the date and time? Yes, Your Honor. The court. Any other questions, Miss Pierce? No, Your Honor. Counsel. Any questions? Yes, Your Honor. So this is his lawyer is saying yes, Your Honor, to having questions. By Mr. Lewis. Question. Mr. Rekieta, the drugs that were indicated, those were in your sole possession, correct? Correct. Those were inside a locked room or inside a locked safe inside a locked room, correct? Correct. And you were the only person with access to that room, correct? I was not the only person with access to that room, but I was the only person with access to the safe and the contents within it. Mr. Lewis, nothing further, Your Honor. The court, just one additional question. You didn't have any legal basis or legal purpose for possessing that? Defendant, correct, Your Honor. The court, all right. The court will find that you made a knowing, voluntary, and intelligent waiver of your rights. There is a sufficient factual basis for your admission. The court will order a pre-sentence investigation, a comprehensive assessment, and will return for sentencing. So the sentencing has not come down yet. This is simply the plead agreement. That's why you're seeing the maximum of 20 years to 25 in the waiver, as well as the $250,000 and $150,000 fine. Was there anything else pending the sentencing, Miss Pierce? I would just note, Your Honor, that Mr. Rekieta previously did a chemical. I've got YouTube brain. I would just note, Your Honor, that Mr. Rekieta previously did a chemical use assessment, and so, just for his information, that probation could just ask for a release to get that instead of doing a second one. All right, and that would be fine with the court, as you know, as long as it's still valid and release is signed. Anything else here today? Other than a date, Mr. Lewis, which is, again, Rekieta's counsel, aside from the date, Your Honor, and just to flag it for the court's awareness, Mr. Rekieta has a pre-existing commitment out of state in the first part of May, specifically May 9th through 10th. So we would, defendant, 8th and 9th. 8th and 9th, okay, yes. So if we can get sentencing done before that, we could ask the court to allow travel, or if not, we could ask the court to allow the travel anyway. So he's going somewhere on the 8th and 9th of May for some reason. Let's look at the dates. April, that works for the state as well. That should be fine for me. Okay, so it looks like the sentencing, the hearing for the sentencing, we're looking at a date of April. All right, we can address that as long as the things are okay with probation for that short period of time. I don't see that there would be an issue with that out-of-state period of time, so long as everything is going well with probation. So basically the court is like, yeah, listen, go do your weekend. Well, sorry, that was May 8th, right? May 8th is... That was May. Am I crazy? That was May? Did they say May? Yeah, May. So they're just doing the sentencing in April, so it's before that anyway. But May 8th and 9th is a Thursday, Friday. Yeah, thank you, Feline, yes. A Thursday, Friday. So, I mean, the judge is basically saying, yeah, okay, if you need to travel out of state, as long as your probation is going well and for such a short of time, I don't think it'll be a problem. Go ahead and do you, boo-boo. Defendant, I am fully willing to work with anything the court needs, Your Honor. That's good. You know, okay, listen, good job, Nick. Good following the rules, being fucking agreement, not being argumentative, listening to what the court has to say, and doing the thing. That's the thing. Good for you. Good job, Nick. Good job. Now stop harassing people. Me? I'm doing pretty okay. Thank you for asking. The court, we can address that again further at sentencing then. All right, well, thank you. We have the date set. The next hearing will be in person here as well. Anything else? No, Your Honor. All right, thank you. That will conclude the hearing today. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you. You're welcome. End of record. Reporter certification. So that's just that is violable. All right. So, what does this mean? What does this look like? Well, provided the state looks like they agreed, Nick Rekieta agreed, he got the charges dismissed against his wife, he got his Kyla, he got the things, or they dismissed against Kyla, they dismissed against April, they dropped the child endangerment, they dropped the weapons charges, and they're sticking with the drug charge and the drug charge alone, but he has pled guilty to all of those things. So, so Nick simped. I think there will be people that will describe that. And I think that or describe it that way. I think that there's also a bit of a interesting direction that, from the YouTube perspective, I mean, where is that umbrella guy? Where is Yellow Flash? Where is, like, Ty Beard? Where are all these people that were live supporting Nick Rekieta? Where are all these people that were enabling Nick Rekieta? Where's Vic Mignogna in all of this? And, like, basically, it's birds of a feather, right? So for anybody who doesn't know the whole phrase, it's birds of a feather flock together until the cat comes. It's about fair weather friends, not about people being alike and hanging out together. It is about people being alike and hanging out together and then throwing each other under the bus at the first sign of trouble. So, I think that, at least in my opinion, if this was my friend, if this was somebody I was working with for any length of time and was doing streams together and was part of a group of people all kind of running the same gaff, I would probably make some statements on the matter. I would probably make my opinions on the matter known. And maybe I would be light about it. Maybe I'd be like, yeah, this is shitty. I don't like it. I didn't know this was going on, yada, yada, yada. But you would have to accept the circumstances and accept that this is what this person has been doing. I have not seen that from any of these people, including Vic. So, like, I saw Umbrella Guy trying to engage in Nick Rekieta apologetics, where he blamed the police for scaring people in the house when they showed up with a warrant, and saying that the police were scaring and terrorizing children. And that they were actually the bad guys. Yellow Flash, I have seen in DMs telling Nick Rekieta off, but I have not seen a video coming out. I haven't seen anything like... You don't see these people doing to Nick Rekieta yet what they've been doing to other people, such as Monica Rial, such as Jamie Marchi. Right? And a part of me wonders why. Is it because Nick Rekieta still has dirt on them that he could put out? Is it because etc., etc., etc.? Vic Mignogna has distanced himself, but he hasn't actually addressed this issue. If Vic Mignogna had some kind of integrity, he would make a statement. He would come out and say, hey, listen, because there's something to be said about the amount of money that Vic Mignogna claims he never saw that was given to Nick Rekieta by Vic Mignogna's fan base that Vic Mignogna encouraged. And it looks like he blew it up his nose. Nick Rekieta only exists and gets to this point with the assistance and enablement of Vic Mignogna. Owning that, that's what taking responsibility is. That's what having integrity looks like. So where's the readings of these? Where's the thrashing of this? Why one thing and not the other? Is it because women? It's a lot easier to pick on Jamie and Monica because they're women? Is it because you were buddies with them? Why wasn't Vic responsible about the money his fans were giving to Nick Rekieta? And finding out where that money went and getting that paper trail. There's never been receipts for that anybody has seen. Vic enabled his fan base to be ripped off and set them up as victims of Nick Rekieta, and this is the result of it so far, thus far. So where's the streams? Where's the public thrashing of these huge YouTubers that all grew together by being and forming a harassment group so they could harass women, because those were their main targets, women? When one of their buddies is out here, where's calling him a simp? Where's calling him a cuck? Where is it all? Where's all the name calling? Where's all the fucking... No? So you never had these standards to begin with? You have no integrity? You have no standards? You have no leg to stand on? Yeah, that's what I thought. Nobody should be watching these channels. Nobody should be enabling these people, because this is how it always ends up. Tug's a fucking embarrassment. Yellow Flash is a fucking joke. They're ridiculous. Vic Mignogna is a fucking loser. Like, that's all it is. These are fucking losers that make money off of outrage farming people who hate women. That's about it. That's the long and short of it. Anyway, that was it. Congratulations, Nick Rekieta, on admitting that you were wrong. Props to saying you're going to, agree with the court and follow whatever the court says, because, I mean, we've watched people be like, no, we're not going to follow the court orders. I don't understand them. So at least he's doing that. I'll give him that much. And, good for him for taking what sounds like it's probably a pretty good deal for him, because based on the evidence and the statements that we watched and that we've seen, looks like he would have lost real bad, real hard, and his lady friend and his wife would have been in a bad way. Hopefully, their kids are okay. Hopefully they're fine. We can hope for the best. They're not gonna have Vic Mignogna money coming in anymore, so hopefully, maybe that readjusts their spending habits to not be doing cocaine. I mean, I really think, like, that's a conversation for another day about the legality of drugs, but you shouldn't be putting your children in danger. That's more the thing that I have a bigger issue. Hawkskull says, my guess is the women get off so they don't lose the kids. Probably. At least his wife. At least Kyla. As for April, I don't know. Maybe Nick Rekieta is just gonna try to come back as the hero who saved the Whammons. But alas, thank you for joining me. I knew it wouldn't be too long today because this wasn't the longest document I've ever read on here. We'll be back in April, I guess, to find out what the sentencing was. I'm very curious to know what they're gonna hit him with. But tomorrow I'll be back here doing more research about branding, so if you're interested in that. It's actually really interesting in the tangled webs we weave in trading and economy. And it's going to be very useful information, so I definitely recommend swinging by. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to get out of here. I'll be back with Mert Mart at 4. And good job. Thanks for stopping by. This was a short one. I wanted to keep it short specifically because I want people to be able to actually get through this in a reasonable amount of time and not be here for 4 hours. But yeah, that's it. I'm leaving. So long. Goodbye. Thank you. And now nobody has any excuse to be like, oh, I didn't read it. Before you go, how is Puck enjoying the snow? Yeah, he is loving it. He was here a minute ago. He just left. Have a good day. I'll see you guys at Mert Mart on Twitch if you enjoy that. Bye!